Hello students, myself Dr. Sheikh Pratima, Ahmednagar Jilla Maratha Vidya Prasarak Samaj's New Arts, Commerce and Science College, Ahmednagar. Supply Analysis. This is your fourth chapter as per your 12th standard syllabus. So in this video, the subunit is like the variation in supply. Before I have discussed the variation in supply, we just review that the other parts related to the supply. So the first is we have discussed already the concept of supply. There are individual, then second is the market. Then next we have discussed also the law of supply. So the statement of law of supply, if you have to remember the statement, so the other things being equal or the constant, higher the price of the commodity, higher the quantity supplied, and lower the price of the commodity, less the quantity supplied. So this statement will explain what is the relationship between the supply and price. This is the functional relationship, means it's direct relationship. If price will rise, so that time supply will rise. And if price will fall, so the supply will fall. So in this video, we just discussed the what is the impact about that the relationship, the variation in supply. So basically, there are two concepts. First is the variation in supply, and second is the changes in supply. In this video, we just discussed only the single part, the variation in supply. So in variation in supply, there are two types. First is the expansion of supply, and second is the contraction of supply. And the second concept is like the changes in supply. Increase, there are also the two types. First is the increase in supply, and second is the decrease in supply. So in this video, we just discussed only the first part because the it's a time bounding program. So that's why we have discussed only the variation in supply. So let's start with the first part, concept, the variation in supply. Basically, what is the meaning of the variation in supply? Means the, what is the changes and why we have expressed that part and where. So the first is when quantity supplied of a commodity where is due to changes in this price, other factors remaining constant, it is known as the variation in supply. In other words, variation in supply means what? When quantity supplied of a commodity changes due to change in price but other factors remaining constant. So the other factors means what? The first is the price of inputs. So the price of inputs means what? The factors of productions, the reward about that factors of production, otherwise prices of that factors of production. Then second is the taxes. Then third is the technology. But in variation in supply, we assume that the other factors remaining constant. Means this factor, the prices of inputs, then second is the taxes, then technology. These all things remaining constant. But only single factor like a price, it's a change. So that's why the supply of commodity is change. So that is called as the variation in supply. Okay. So there are two types of variation in supply. You know, the basically we assume the other factors remaining constant. See now, in the variation in supply, we assume that other factors remaining constant, only price will be changed. So that's why the quantity supplied of a commodity, it's also change. So there are two types. So the first is the expansion of supply and second is the contraction of supply. So let's we discuss the first type is like the expansion of supply. There that the other name is also like the extension of supply. Okay, the extension of supply or the expansion of supply means it's a expand, that supply is expand. So expansion of supply, it refers to a rise in quantity supplied due to a rise in the price of a commodity. Basically, you know, the it's a direct relationship. We have to discuss that part in the last few videos. What is the relationship between the price and the quantity supplied? It's a direct relationship. Direct means what? If the price will rise, automatically supply will rise. But what is the other factors condition? In the expansion of supply, it refers to a rise in the quantity supplied due to a rise in the price of a commodity. and we assume the other factors remaining constant. So in the expansion of supply, it leads to upward movements. Means what is the situation about that the supply curve? Extension of supply leads to an upward movement along the same supply curve due to rise in price. See now, in your screen, I have shared that the graphical representation of the expansion of supply. OX-axis measures the quantity supplied and Y-axis measures the price of that commodity. SS is the supply curve. So the expansion in supply leads to an upward movement on the same supply curve due to rise in price. So the first price is OP. So the price will rise OP to OP1, and SS is the supply curve. So the first quantity supplied means the price is price is the OP. So that time supply is OQ, and the price will rise OP to OP1. So that time supply is also rise OQ to Q1. So it is explained that the expansion of supply. So the MN, see now, in the supply curve movement is the left to right upward, and MN along the same supply curve. Okay, MN will explain the rise in price. So it leads to an upward movement. So this is known as the expansion of supply. SS is the supply curve. MN point will explain the expansion of supply. Means price will rise, other factors remaining constant. So that time supply is also increased. Okay. So that is called as the expansion of supply, and this part will explain the see, I will repeat that point. The expansion of supply, we assume other factors remaining constant. Other factors means what? The prices of inputs, then taxes, then technology. These all factors, it is a constant, because if it is a change, so that part will affect to the supply. So that's why only single factor, the price, it is a change. So that's why supply will change. So that is called as the expansion of supply. So let's we discussed the second type is like the variation in supply, that is the contraction of supply. What is the meaning of the contraction of supply? See now, the in your screen, I have discussed that the definition of the contraction of supply. It refers to a fall in quantity supplied due to fall in the price of a commodity, other factors remaining constant. See, in the first part, expansion of supply, we assume the price will rise. But in a contraction of supply, we have discussed that the price will fall. But we have assumed the other factors remaining constant. So that's why that is called as the contraction of supply. This part is also confused. Okay, every time this point will confuse you, but you don't confuse. This part will explain the one of the most important thing is like it refers the contraction of supply. It refers to a fall in the quantity supplied due to a fall in price of a commodity, and we assume basically the other factors remaining constant. And I repeat again, the other factors means what? The prices of input, then taxes, then technology. You know, if the technology upgradation, so that time the price will change. So that's why we assume. So in case of contraction of supply, there is a downward movement along the same supply curve. See, I have shared that the screen. So in the contraction of supply means what? The price will falls due to the supply will falls due to price will falls, and other factors remaining constant. So that is called as the contraction of supply. There is a downward movement on the same supply curve. See, we have discussed also the graphical representation. OX-axis measures the quantity supplied and Y-axis measures the price of that commodity. So the quantity supplied falls from OQ to OQ2. See, the first is the OQ. It's a basic price, basic supply, and the supply falls. Why? Because first price is OP and price will falls OP2, OP to OP2, and the supply is also false OQ2. SS is the supply curve. So it's a downward movement from N to M. Means see, the SS is the supply curve, and it's explained the N to M, that curve explain, that point will explain it's a contraction of supply. It is also known as the contraction of supply. Means what? The SS is the supply curve. That curve's movement is downward. Why it's a downward? Because we assume the other factors remaining constant, but the price will fall, so that time the quantity supplied will falls. So that is called as the contraction of supply. So this is the second type of variation in supply. I think the all student will better understood this point, the variation in supply. So in the next video we also discuss the second the concept is like the changes in supply. Okay, so goodbye everybody. Stay home, stay safe. Bye everybody.